Hello, I'm Richard Jeffs, and welcome to DX Deploy. I'm thrilled to be here in beautiful Scotland, a perfect setting to spotlight the tremendous work being done around digital experiences today. Before we get to today's agenda, I want to thank the entire DX community for being here. Your amazing innovation and feedback are at the heart of what we do. The passion you have for solving today's challenges is incredible and is driving the success of organizations across the world. The past 2 years have been a roller coaster. We have been forced to adapt and in many cases reimagine our core priorities. And we all know that digital experience has never mattered more. Companies realize that to gain a competitive edge, they must adopt a digital-first strategy that embraces digital as core business value and fits within their broader company vision. People expect a personalized experience that delivers the answer they need at the exact moment they need it. As our digital world continues to expand and mature, these expectations, I think we can all agree, will only grow. Here at HCL, we know that your success is tied to meeting those expectations. That's what drives us as well, to keep you ahead of the competition by empowering you with the latest in digital innovation and functionality. Which brings me back to DX. The DX platform unlocks and maximizes value for both organizations and their customers. We are seeing that across industries, from banking, healthcare, insurance, real estate, retail, and government as well. The scope of the impact you are making is astounding. Organizations using DX reach more than 1 billion people a day. We see positive outcomes from our customers everywhere. With over 16 million citizens who now use self-service to help with their tax processing, the 50% faster time to deliver hassle-free banking experiences, the 21% increase in healthcare member signups, and the 31% jump in loyalty due to a unique retail experience. Impacts like these are possible thanks to the talented community of users and developers who put DX to work, and in the process, help make it better. We love hearing from our customers about how DX helps them and how it can be improved. The feedback is critical to building the DX platform of the future, and I can't wait to hear what's coming next from the folks who understand it best. So let's get to the agenda. We're going to start out by first hearing some amazing customer stories. Then we'll dig deeper into new product features and explore what they offer to developers and practitioners. Finally, we'll discuss the future of the market and what a roadmap forward looks like. And with that, let's get into our first customer story, the power company Edison in Italy.
Ciao a tutti, mi chiamo Anna Dentino Sante e lavoro nella divisione ICT di Edison come responsabile dell'area Digital, Marketing e Business Innovation. Siamo la più antica azienda europea nel settore dell'energia, infatti l'anno prossimo compiremo 140 anni e tra le maggiori in Italia. Dal 2012 siamo una società controllata dal gruppo EDF, Électricité de France. Siamo impegnati in prima linea nella sfida della transizione energetica attraverso obiettivi di sostenibilità nel campo delle energie rinnovabili, dell'efficienza energetica, della digitalizzazione e del mercato finale. Ci siamo dati l'obiettivo di produrre il 40% della nostra energia esclusivamente da fonti rinnovabili entro il 2030, a fronte di una riduzione delle emissioni prodotte dal nostro parco di generazione elettrica, ovviamente in linea con gli obiettivi di decarbonizzazione dell'intero paese. Siamo attivi nella produzione e vendita di energia elettrica, nell'approvvigionamento e vendita di gas, nonché nella fornitura di servizi energetici e ambientali. Infatti Edison Energia è la società del gruppo dedicata alla vendita di energia elettrica e gas naturale ai clienti finali. La società affianca alla tradizionale offerta di luce e gas un ampio ventaglio di servizi innovativi rivolti alle famiglie, ai professionisti in partite IVA e ai clienti business. Per esempio, per i canali del teleselling e del territorio sono state fatte scelte architetturali che garantissero la scalabilità capace di farci aumentare la nostra forza e volume di vendita e la velocità che ci permettesse di offrire ai nostri clienti la migliore esperienza possibile. L'utilizzo di architetture IT moderne basate su microservizi, containerizzazione, servizi cloud è stata un'altra scelta effettuata proprio in questi anni. Quindi la nostra partnership con HCL si fonda proprio su questi due pilastri. La possibilità di utilizzare un prodotto che si stia muovendo nella nostra stessa direzione per quanto riguarda il go to cloud, semplificando in questo modo le integrazioni tecnologiche e che ci permetta di meglio supportare la strategia digitale condivisa dal nostro cliente interno e che rientra nel piano più ampio e ambizioso di creazione di un ecosistema tecnologico cliente centrico. Infatti, proprio nell'ambito digital è stato intrapreso un percorso, ad oggi ancora in corso, che prevede 3 tappe fondamentali. Conosci il tuo cliente, supporta il tuo cliente, attira nuovi clienti. Studiando il comportamento dei clienti è ormai evidente la tendenza alla digitalizzazione. Il nostro modello è un utente digitale che visita il nostro sito e vuole tutte le funzionalità a portata di un click. È quindi fondamentale che il nostro sito sia ottimizzato per la visualizzazione da mobile. E per lo stesso motivo è importante anche ampliare le funzionalità disponibili sulla mobile app e sul sito anche per quanto riguarda la comunicazione e il look and feel del canale. Per tutti questi aspetti abbiamo sfruttato proprio le capabilities della piattaforma HCL DX e aumentato le sue potenzialità combinando queste funzionalità con anche altri sistemi sempre della suite, quali ad esempio HCL Unica. Infatti, grazie ad esempio all'utilizzo del modulo di Interact di Unica, è stato infatti possibile personalizzare l'esperienza dei nostri clienti per alcuni processi di post vendita prima disponibili solo da canale telefonico. In particolare abbiamo combinato la potenza di Unica nella creazione di target sempre più articolati e granulari, assieme alla flessibilità di integrazione di Interact e le nuove funzionalità digitali di DX. In questo modo siamo stati in grado di fornire un'esperienza utente moderna e soprattutto facile e accessibile, mascherando in questo modo tutta la complessità tipica dei processi del nostro mondo dell'energy. Abbiamo trovato estremamente utile poter lavorare con un prodotto digitale in continua trasformazione, che si adattasse con le funzionalità al percorso di innovazione che stiamo vivendo anche noi. La strategia, ad esempio, di rendere disponibile questi servizi direttamente nell'area riservata ai nostri clienti si riflette positivamente anche sui dati raccolti nel primo quadrimestre di quest'anno. Sul canale digitale riscontriamo infatti percentuali migliori sia in termini di completamento dei processi interamente in autonomia da parte del cliente. In questo caso la percentuale si assesta per alcuni processi anche al di sopra del 90%, e sia di rilavorazione delle pratiche da parte degli uffici di back office. La percentuale di lavorazione per le pratiche provenienti dal canale digitale è ad esempio inferiore del 13% rispetto agli altri canali. In sintesi, le nuove tecnologie e l'innovazione sono per la nostra azienda elementi fondanti per poter mantenere, ma anche e soprattutto aumentare la capacità competitiva e la produttività del nostro business.
Olá, eu me chamo Jorge Martins, eu sou responsável por projetos estratégicos na Ipiranga Petróleo. É uma empresa com sede na cidade do Rio de Janeiro, no Brasil. Nós somos uma empresa brasileira e fazemos parte de uma holding que possui multinegócios no ramo de petróleo e gás. Somos uma das maiores empresas do ramo de distribuição de combustíveis e varejo. Há mais de 85 anos estamos nesse segmento. Nossa plataforma de multinegócios unimos mobilidade e conveniência. Por isso, nós somos reconhecidos como uma das maiores marcas do setor. Atuamos em todo o território brasileiro, com escritórios, bases de distribuição, contamos com cerca de 3.000 colaboradores diretos e mais de 70.000 colaboradores indiretos. Comercializamos combustíveis, produtos e serviços através de uma rede de distribuição varejista com mais de 7.000 postos, mais de 2.000 lojas de conveniência e mais de 1.500 unidades de troca de óleo e serviços automotivos. Somos pioneiros nas frentes de fidelidade e meios de pagamento. Nosso programa de fidelidade se consolidou como um dos maiores do país, alcançando uma marca superior a 30 milhões de participantes. A dinâmica é simples. O cliente abastece nos nossos postos, consome nossos produtos e serviços na rede e a cada real abastecido, ele junta pontos que podem ser trocados por benefícios ou até mesmo desconto nos próximos abastecimentos. Somos inovadores no nosso segmento. Isso é um bônus, por sermos uma referência no nosso mercado, porém isso exige um processo de evolução contínua, porque, por outro lado, temos o ônus de precisar nos reinventarmos todos os dias para não sermos alcançados pelos nossos concorrentes, que rapidamente entregam soluções similares. De outro lado, estão os nossos clientes, ou seja, o cliente da Ipiranga, que procura soluções que vão de encontro com as suas necessidades. O nosso desafio é sempre fazer o melhor, no menor tempo, que seja acessível e que também seja vendedor. Por sermos pioneiros naquilo que fazemos, seja para o nosso segmento B2B, seja para o segmento B2C, o nosso cliente espera ser surpreendido com entregas que tragam valor. Quando falamos de inovação, muitas pessoas acreditam que precisamos a todo momento criar algo novo, ter uma ideia genial, enquanto na essência a inovação é fazer aquilo de uma forma parecida, com ajustes, com melhorias, desde que isso gere resultados. Ideias nascem todos os dias, com o objetivo de resolver problemas. Algumas dessas ideias, quando analisadas sob uma nova ótica, se mostram como verdadeiras oportunidades, que podem transformar negócios, podem ser capazes de criar inclusive um novo nicho de mercado. É um pouco disso que fazemos na Ipiranga. Não desprezamos nada. Olhamos para tudo e buscamos todos os dias melhorar, agregar resultados para que então possamos entregar para esse nosso cliente novas experiências, surpreendendo de forma sólida e constante. Nesse mercado, precisamos o tempo todo oferecer diferenciais. Nesse conjunto estão preço, condição, entrega e todo o suporte para fazer com que os negócios girem lá na ponta. Que eles gerem fluxo de clientes, para que o cliente seja atraído pela nossa marca e também pela nossa oferta. É um grande ecossistema. Para que possamos seguir nessa linha de constância, precisamos contar com parceiros fortes, os melhores nos seus segmentos, que possam unir forças conosco para trazer nas suas expertises, para que tenhamos musculatura e construir entregas de valor. Por isso nós contamos com a HCL e sua solução de Digital Experience, que estão conosco nos principais elos com o nosso cliente. A plataforma DX oferece uma solução robusta, em linha evolutiva com as novas tecnologias. Esse é um ponto extremamente forte. Além disso, o suporte na implementação, a solução de problemas e a forma de fazer colaborativo trazem mais diferenciais à plataforma. Recentemente, nós iniciamos um projeto de migração das nossas plataformas B2C e B2B. Pelo tamanho e complexidade, precisamos dividir esse projeto em várias fases, para que a gente pudesse dar o máximo de foco e minimizar os impactos. Iniciamos uma verdadeira reconstrução na forma com que fazíamos. Tínhamos na solução anteriores problemas de performance que nos impediam de avançar na velocidade que nós precisávamos. Esse projeto ele ainda está em andamento, uma previsão de término julho de 2022. Porém, nessa segunda fase concluída, já começamos a colher os primeiros frutos. Melhoramos consideravelmente a performance de acesso, diminuímos o tempo de desenvolvimento e implementações, ou seja, quanto mais aderente à plataforma, entregando informações de funcionalidade, automatizando os processos, maior será a diminuição do tempo do nosso cliente no call center. Com isso, reduzimos custos de operação, aumentamos a satisfação desse cliente com o nosso produto. Ou seja, esse é um casamento perfeito. Eu prefiro não utilizar o termo fornecedor, porque, na verdade, o que nós construímos são parceiros de negócio. É dessa forma que eu posso resumir a nossa relação com a HCL. Ela se traduz em proximidade dos times, rápida resposta e suporte quando necessário, tudo que é necessário para que possamos evoluir, buscando recursos para compor essas entregas. Como próximos passos da evolução da plataforma, agregaremos novos serviços na jornada do cliente, como a inserção de análises comportamentais qualitativa, o que nos dará embasamento para ações proativas no nosso negócio. Vamos aumentar o nível de satisfação dos nossos canais. Recentemente, eu li um texto onde o autor dizia que o mundo precisa ser ajudado por ideias e por parcerias. Usando criatividade, que é algo inerente do ser humano, a criatividade ela precisa ser exercida todos os dias. Pois quando nós exercemos a criatividade, nós evoluímos. Logo, quando nós deixamos de exercitar a criatividade, ficamos estagnados. Não existe nenhuma ideia ruim para ser descartada, nenhuma ideia boa que não possa ser melhorada. O processo de transformação digital, ele é cíclico, ele nunca vai ter fim. Todos os dias acordamos com novas necessidades para que elas sejam supridas. Logo, o nosso papel à frente do negócio é estarmos sensíveis e acompanhar o cenário de mudança, exercitar a nossa criatividade para continuarmos nesse processo de transformação por intermédio de novas soluções que possam resolver problemas tradicionais de forma prática, rápida e que traga sempre impactos positivos e também que faça diferença na vida das pessoas.
Hi there, my name's Andrew Manby, Head of Product Management for HCL Digital Solutions, and I'm super excited to be at DX Deploy. So you know our DX product. It helps you to deliver business-critical digital experiences and is trusted by governments, banks, insurance companies, and healthcare organizations worldwide. And people use our solution in multiple modalities. They use it in headed and also headless configuration. And what people most appreciate of our product is the rock-solid security and privacy, the extensibility and integration, our global deployments and multilingual support, and really that cross-platform capability, built cloud native, and the scalability for both on-prem, hybrid, and cloud. So summing it up, DX is the platform of trust for our customers' most important digital experiences. So what I'd like to do now is recap for you, just very quickly, how far we've got on this journey, and then we'll talk about what's coming next. Firstly, what did we do for IT? We helped you increase your deployment velocity and reduce your overall total cost of ownership. For many of you, I've heard you, we've added the native Kubernetes support for OpenShift, Azure, Amazon, and Google, and you're enjoying it. We've also added that hybrid architecture so you could take advantage of some of those new capabilities like DAM with your existing deployment and use that new functionality. We've also given you a new container delivery mechanism with HCL Sophie to make it easier for you to download those containers instead of going through F&O. And then lastly, we've enhanced the core capabilities for all deployment types, whether it's on-prem, hybrid, or Kubernetes, to make your job easier. So let's talk about the practitioner. And you have a hard job to do. And where we focused is really providing Design Studio to give you, the non-technical user, the ability to rapidly build page layouts. We've also continued to enhance our Content Composer capability with version comparison and workflow integration. And we've added that multilingual support that you wanted to make it easier to represent the individual locales. So you're building multilingual sites in a much easier way. We added a digital asset manager, which I've heard from many of you just love, and the video streaming capabilities we added with Kaltura. And lastly, we added those digital analytics capabilities so you could have visibility about what was going on in your digital experience, both with Google Analytics and our HCL Discover support as well. Now, for the developer, we really wanted to enable you to be able to create their experiences faster. You know, our philosophy is if we're building anything, a new experience, we build it on a set of REST APIs and we build the new experience, but we give you those new APIs so you can do things yourself. And we in fact added over 200 new APIs. We've also added seamless PWA support and a smooth orchestration throughout your software development lifecycle using DX Client. Now that DX Client tool really provides you with the application management and administration capabilities that now covers Wickham libraries, themes, syndication, and much, much more. Now, we've also enhanced those APIs, which I mentioned for Wickham as well, for enhance the APIs as well as you providing a remote search and configuration capability. Now, one thing I'm particularly excited about that we're building on rapidly is really around personalization and giving you APIs to support the creation of rules and invocation. So now I've given you a quick recap of where we've come from, what's next. So let me give you a perspective of our 3-year roadmap. At HCL, we call it Mission DX 2025. As you can see, we've named our annual release cadence after constellations and stars. Our goal is to fully realize what we've learned from our customers, partners, and the market about what digital challenges you face today and what you're going to face in the future in the era of digital first. So today, I'm proud to announce our DX Orion release that's available in 2022. Now, with these annual releases, it doesn't mean to say that we're getting away from continuous releases. Far from it. We're going to continue to innovate, go faster, and think differently, and deliver this content much more rapidly to you. But think about these as major milestones on our journey. Before I get into the specific details of the Orion release, let me tell you about how we're framing our roadmap for DX 2025 and the themes that inform that. The first area, unsurprisingly, is around the practitioner and enabling you to do more with less code faster. The second area is really around the developer. So that's not only the creation of new experiences, integrating back-end systems and other applications, but it's also enabling you to automate more processes with much more ease. So the third area is really around customer experience. And we want to make it easier for you to deliver more power along your customer journey with fewer clicks. And then the fourth area is continuing this drumbeat and this momentum that we have around providing a full spectrum of deployment options for on-prem, hybrid, and Kubernetes. Now, it's very important when we do this that we think about acceleration and where there's possibilities to do hyper-automation, we'll take it. And also we're thinking about, from a platform perspective, how do we make it more open, extensible, modular, and continue to support the modalities that I mentioned earlier about headed and headless. I'm very excited about the DX Orion release. So let's get into a little bit more detail using those themes about what you can expect to see very soon. In this release for the practitioner, what you'll actually see is enhancements to Design Studio page editor capability, specifically enhancements to lists, templates, and symbols, as well as improved Wickham component interoperability. Now, I know many of you are excited and using the DAM today, and what we've heard from you is you want to make it event-based and customize the functionality. So you can now, in this release, be able to customize the additions for specific renditions of assets for target form factors, for example, for mobile. Another area I'm super excited about is our Leap form capability. You'll see when you see the product a radical upgrade in terms of the application development capabilities and an entirely new visual workflow capability that's going to make you want to create more workflows. For the developer, what have we added? Well, we've added AI image tagging for content enrichment with Google Vision tagging and customized tagging in the DAM. And also from a deployment perspective, we're making sure that DAM is production ready with the ability to go from staging to production, just like you do today with Wickham syndication, but for DAM. Now on the CX side, remember I mentioned bringing more power with fewer clicks. The two areas we're focusing on is one, which is around personalization and new APIs for rule management invocation. And then the second area is, we've heard from you, you want us to make it much more easy to plug and play with multiple types of data sources. So with this release, we're going to enable the Vault Foundry middleware and API capability to be used from any of your application development experiences. And then lastly, around cloud native deployment. Yes, we've moved from an operator to a full Helm deployment capability, so you can really configure transparently your Kube deployments. And lastly, some new features we've added, which we've heard are very important: rolling updates, logging, and metric support to improve the manageability. And the last thing here is we've heard from you, as you start building more workloads, the PVU pricing may not be the place you want to be. So we've introduced a new bill of materials, new pricing and packaging for those new workloads, which is consumption-based and licensed exclusively for Kube. So there's lots of great capabilities here, but don't take it from me. Let's see it in action. So I'm going to hand over to Mike and the team to take you through a demo of these great capabilities.
As you've been hearing, the Orion release comes with a great many new features. In an effort to articulate those new features, we've designed a realistic scenario around Woodburn Bank, offering a new credit card that's meant to facilitate existing customers' financial needs. My name is Mike Rowe, and I am one of the product managers for Digital Experience Platform. With me, I have a team of other folks that are going to help guide us through this journey. So let me introduce you to them.
So hello everyone, Brimi here. I'm one of the software engineer for Digital Experience. For today, let me play the role of a practitioner for you to do the task on how we can launch a new product easily using our Digital Experience solution.
Hello everyone, my name is Sharika Nandakumar and I am also a software engineer in the DX engineering team. Today I will be playing the role of an IT person who will browse through the APIs to show you how quick and easy it is to do headless content management.
For this scenario, Woodburn Bank is launching a new credit card product. This is going to be made available exclusively to existing customers in support of their financial needs. To build out this scenario, we're going to assemble all of the campaign collateral that's necessary and functionality, leveraging as many of our new features as possible as we move through. So I guess to get started, Burmi, I think that we need to start from scratch with some content.
Of course, actually not just from scratch with content, but even the raw assets or the images that we have to use. To give me some insight, what kind of credit card we want to launch this time?
Definitely, we're using a travel rewards card.
Okay, it will be a travel rewards card. To do that, as a practitioner here, I'm here in the practitioner page of our digital experience. I will go to the digital asset management, as this is the central platform that houses are the assets that we use for the entire Woodburn Bank site. So what's great for here actually is that when you have your digital experience, it comes free with the digital asset management, or what we normally or commonly call DAM. So here, let me create my new Max Travel collection. So it would give me a sort of like a folder that would house the new things that I would have to add. So I collected some of the interesting images related to travel. So I have here some images here, uploading them. And as you can see, uploading is quick and easy. Another thing that's happening in the background is that it's creating renditions for mobile, tablet, and desktop, just so whenever we want to create content and our customers want to consume it in those platforms, it would look appropriately and visually appealing, I would say. But then recently in Orion, if I'm not mistaken, there are other configurations or other setups that I can even use as a practitioner.
You're right, Burmi. So in our Orion release, we are introducing the DAM extensibility feature, which is basically a feature that enhances and empowers the DAM to support user-defined renditions. And also it allows us to configure transformations of these assets. It also helps to generate the metadata configurations based on the MIME type of these particular renditions. So that's quite heavy feature that we have introduced through plugin configuration. So what a user needs to do is that they just need to have their custom APIs created, and they can plug into DAM via this extensibility feature. For this, what I would tell you is that during the Kube deployment, during the configuration, ask your administrator to just go into the Kube configurations, and you would be able to see two JSONs, one for the plugin extensibility JSON, and one is for the renditions extensibility. So if you go into the plugins extensibility JSON, you just need to add what is going to be your plugin API. So a parameter for that, and then once you go back, you can go into the renditions extensibility. And here for each MIND type, you can provide your rendition, and for each rendition you can provide the transformational stack or the thumbnail stack on how the supplemental stack need to be for any kind of metadata configurations. So these, as you see here, is how you need to configure in your Helm deployment configurations.
Wow. So with this, I'd be able to create a custom rendition outside of the desktop and tablet and
Yes.
mobile experience. So I could theoretically use one of these for an ad or in a headless scenario to generate those renditions as well?
Yes, for example, I would say watermarking. Isn't that a cool feature that we could add? So you just need to have your own API to add your watermark and then plug it in.
Wow. Oh.
That would be cool. But for now, for this new Max Travel card, let's try to have the readily prepared rendition. But definitely as we move along or we try to add more assets in the page, then that would be a very useful feature. So to do that, let's build our content. So this time I'll be using Content Composer. Content Composer is, it's been a while, or it's been around quite a while, not for Orion as a new thing, but then for this one, this is very useful since it simplified the process of creating contents out of those raw images and assets. And we can even reuse because Woodburn Bank site exists a lot and the credit cards are there. So we can reuse the assets or we can reuse the templates from before. So this time we'll make our new Max Travel card. And then of course, we have the credit card templates from before. We'll be using that so they would be uniform. And then putting it into a side area. So this time, I would actually need an interesting tagline. So any suggestions from your end, guys?
Something like max travel to the max?
Travel to the max. So let's see. Hopefully, our customers would travel to the max release. So travel to the max with Max Travel card. So, okay, hopefully that rings. And then this time, let's consume the images that we uploaded in the DAM. So I'll be selecting this. We have these assets. And this one looks good. So now we would see an outdoor type couple in a really good site. And then we'll also use the travel card image itself. Okay. Although we're getting it from DAM, but for Content Composer, this actually enable us to even get the things from our local files. So, but then, as mentioned, we want to maximize our assets and we want to maximize this free digital asset management that would be our central platform. Then let's for now use the DAM. And then I'll be filling up other details here, but I realized, Sharika, since this is a credit card, we would need some details to be pull in dynamically,
right.
Some sorts of data because as a practitioner, I don't want to hard code them.
Right.
Do we have anything for that, Mike or Shark?
I think we have a service that we've recently configured so that always we're going to get the the most recent credit card information. So that can be kept up to date. But is there a way we can expose that service to this content?
Absolutely. So we just need to have some third-party APIs, and using a data container in the Content Composer, we will be able to integrate the data from those APIs into our content. So to do that, for the sake of showing for this Max travel credit card, what I would do is I will go into one of our applications called as the VoltMX. So VoltMX is a easy to use tool that helps us to create mobile applications, using a cool UI and a backend service. Of this, the Foundry is called the backend service, which will enable us to create an API and integrate it anywhere as a service. So I'll be leveraging on the VoltMX Foundry. To do that, I need to obviously log into VoltMX. Yeah, so while that is signing in, as I mentioned, Voltamix has two parts, the UI and the Foundry. And the Foundry, through the Foundry, we can configure such services. So here I have already configured one service for this credit card purpose, and it will return me a response of dynamic data. Once it is published, using the publish service that is here, we should be able to create a content template in our content composer that will connect to this third-party API that is there, and then leverage on that. So here in the configuration, in the content template, all you need to provide is a target endpoint URL element and HTTP method element. Also few JSON text elements for the JSON request header and property mapping, etc. So once that is done, you just need to go into the content and leverage on that content template called in this example, I have used the API configuration. So once you use API configuration, you just need to provide the target endpoint URL. It's a post method. It's a post call that you use to the Voltamix Foundry, and you need to enable it with a token. Once that is done and you click on save, your content is ready. You just need to use a data container Burmy to just fetch this content, and you should be ready to go.
Cool. So it sounds to me like you've used a content item to map live service data into the content management presentation.
You're absolutely right, Mike.
Seems like that. So just to clarify, I don't need to touch any API.
No.
Any data in the back end, any JSON file, because as practitioner or business user, to be honest, I would just want to do it in UI for me.
All you need to do is create a data container and just call the service.
Okay, then let me try that out. So now what's left is to build or lay out our site. So when the content is set, the data container is set. So we have our existing Woodburn Bank site, and I'm here in our Design Studio page. So Design Studio is it's again not a very new thing for Orion, but then this is very helpful for me as a practitioner, as this would give me the power to just drag and drop themes, and I will be able to create an amazing page. So for example, let's have a new page. No, I would have the Max Travel Card offer. So let me create and edit that page. And then from the content that we created before or a while ago, so the content container is what I will be showing. So this is, I will be using the new Max Travel card or the new Max Travel content and adding an image. Here, let me show you that quick and easy. We already have that page or we already have that image in our page. And then I would also want, of course, to include here our credit card itself. So then that is the index image. Oh, worry not, that's big, but then that would be easy to tinker as. Okay, I will make the position absolute. The dimension would be around 25%, so it would not cover everything.
Wow, you're editing the style right in line?
Of course, and it's just in UI, no CSS. CSS is not my best friend, so this is very useful for me. So you see, I'm changing the positions there. And as this is a credit card offering, definitely we should have a call to action button for them to apply. So that would be done via a link block element. So you see there's a learn more and apply later. I guess we can give more life to it, but then adding more styles and other more elements to this, then we can eventually create this great travel page for our Max Travel card. But I don't want to waste your effort for data container. And so let's add in here our data container. So as mentioned, that would actually be quite easy. Just drag that data container. And then what is the title again of the data container that I should use?
It is Credit Card Details API.
Okay, again, that's it. And then adding a text element. Then for this page, I put like the balance transfer rate or the APR that I want to put. Is that something appropriate to use, Mike?
I think definitely we need to have the APR.
Okay, then just have the APR. And cool, to clarify, it appeared 0% for 15 months. I did not type anything anyway.
Well, listen, if the service is telling us that, then as long as that's live, I think that's going to know better than I will.
Yes.
And just to clarify again, because I'm a lazy practitioner here. So in any case that in the future we want to edit, 5% for 15 months or anything, that is not something I would have to do in the front end, meaning it's automatic?
Yes, and all you need to do, you just don't need to do anything. It just need to be updated in the backend, and it's all going to be updated on your page.
Awesome. Okay, in that case, let's try seeing this page that I've created. And now we are on, it's actually rendered on a different browser. We can even, or different tab, we can use a different browser, and we can see this page that we've created.
Oh, so the content's been created, and it looks like it might even be leverageable headlessly, is that?
Of course, just so our customer can even use different types of front end to manipulate it if they're not very used to something that I've used, definitely they can.
Oh, great. So I guess in a short time, we've been able to not only create the content and the assets that's needed, but marry that up with API response so that we always have current data showing, and leverage the design studio to lay that out and put that all onto the layout of the page.
That's
And not only that, we can use that same content and all of those artifacts, for our ads as needed as well, headlessly.
Absolutely.
Oh, great. Wow. So I guess what's the next step? Seems to me we need to be able to target and personalize this content, these artifacts. How can we go about doing that?
Well, we have, for our Orion release, we have the personalization REST APIs that we have newly created in a whole new Explorer. So, it's just the context root you need to change, and you arrive in the API page, which has a nice detailing on the sample, the descriptions, the kind of JSON request that you need to place. So, for just to take you through the application, in this REST API, what we have done so far is that we have the ability to create, retrieve, update, or delete any folder within the PZN rules, and also we can add rules into these folders. Obviously, create, retrieve, update, delete, and also invoke a personalization rule.
Oh, nice.
And that could be done anonymously as well. So that's an added thing. Also, we have the ability to manage certain dynamic properties. These are arbitrary data from the backend. So it's always useful to have an ability to manage them. So you can necessarily do a put or a get to see this dynamic properties. For the sake of our travel credit card, all we need here is a rule. So I'll go ahead and create first of all, a folder for placing any rules you might need in the future. So let us go ahead and just see this post API that is there for folder creation. You have a try it out button in all the APIs that are there. If you click on there, you will get a sample JSON that helps you navigate through what kind of a JSON request you need to place. So here I'm going to place request for creating credit card segments folder, okay, for Max Travel.
That'll be useful to organize our various
True.
campaigns.
I would just type
Yes.
Max Travel Card and it's good.
Yes, and that should be, yeah, here you go. So the folder for Max Travel credit card is created. Now that we have the folder, we can go ahead and create a rule within this folder. So to do that, I will again take a pre-created response from my side to speed up the process. But yeah, as I mentioned earlier, there is a try it out button where you can absolutely look into the request that you need to place and change it accordingly. Here we have the ability to make different kinds of rules. Obviously, the visibility rule and the profiler rule. For this, I bet we need the profiler rule.
Yeah,
Am I
we're going to
right?
need
Definitely.
to target based on a segment, so I think the profiler rules away.
Okay, so let's go ahead and create a profiler rule here. Yeah, so I just need to add the profiler rule, and I need to also provide the parent ID of the folder that I created earlier, so that it will the rule will go and set itself under this particular folder. The parent ID is given, and I click on execute, and we can see that the folder is the rule is already created as a credit card interest under the credit card travel segment for Max Travel. Now that the rule is created, I bet the next process is to invoke the rule. So let us go ahead and provide this particular ID, the rule ID, into the next API that we need, that is the invoke API. In the invoke API, you just need to provide the rule ID, and that's it. Your rule is invoked.
Oh. So with that invoke API request, we can actually not only test the rule that you just created, but it sounds to me like it would be useful to actually use it to invoke in a headless scenario as well, so we can target and show content in those.
Yes.
Okay, well, very good. That's going to be useful. Very useful, actually. How can we put that to practice in the context of our site here?
I guess in my end, it would be good for our bank, because if we can target customers, for example, that it's sort of business for us, that then we can promote the card, we have more customers, and then of course, who user want it quick. So if we provide it quick and it's something that is promoted always to them, then that is something that would benefit our Woodburn Bank site and the business itself. So to do that, I'm already in our Woodburn Bank site. As a practitioner, let me look at a spot that for me, where the eye lands usually. So maybe I would go with the My Account page, and then this top right seems to be a good spot because normally people look at that. And please take note, in the page you would see no results, because I'm logged in as an admin. So this displays the account status and then their travel card information. So if, for example, a user actually logs in, it would provide those details. But for me, again, since I'm an admin, this shows no results. So this, don't worry, it's safe. Okay, then let me target that. So as mentioned, I already find the spot that I want to configure. To do that, I'll go to our site manager. Then that page is selected. Then let me click the configure spot for that area that I want to add our Max Travel card. So clicking the configure spot, and then okay, let me add the content. I will have the Max Travel keyword if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So please don't use a different keyword. That would make things difficult for me. So, okay, click selecting the content that I want. And then I would add a segment. As mentioned, this is a type of marketing or promotion that we want to target specific segment of people. And you mentioned a while ago, it's outdoor type of people that we want.
That was the name of the segment from the personalization?
Yes.
Okay, then we'll have the outdoors.
And did I forget to mention that you can now import and export the PZN rules from one environment to another?
Oh,
So if you need to stage, all you need to do is use the DX client tool that we had launched way back in 2020, which is keeping on adding new features. So you just need to use the PZN DX client tool to import and export and import the PZN rules from one environment to another.
True, but then for now, I'll rely on you.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Sure. That's why I'm here.
now I added that content and save it. So once our user or customer who is under the outdoor segment type, and then they would see it, and then it's in the spot that I put for me, would be very beneficial for the bank for them to apply. So I guess that's where we land on the personalization part of this travel card promotion.
Wow. Okay, so now we've got our content assembled, using the Design Studio, but not only assembled with our content assets, we've pulled in some service data and applied now personalization to the experience as well, so that we can target and appropriately segment. And even with the new APIs available, we're able to leverage ads in remote properties as well. So I guess what's left is we need to have the application somehow exposed so that we can actually facilitate the end of the process for the customer.
Yes.
So how are we going to go about doing that?
Yeah, so we always have had HCL Leap, which we use for such kind of application form creations.
That's right.
Well, the new thing is that we have undergone a major transformation for in terms of the streamlined user interface that helps us visualize this whole process. So let's go into that.
That's right. So Leap's new version 9.3 is launching. That's right.
Is it easier to be used by, for example, for now I will let you do it, but then in the future, meaning is that something us practitioners can use?
Absolutely, because it is, as I mentioned, it's easily usable. It helps you visualize the whole workflow process as well as the design process. So compared to the older interfaces that we have very clear icons that we could click, and we could go, for example, to add rules and to drag and drop the elements. And we have this workflow newly configured that allows us to integrate with a service as well. So here in this workflow, if I just go ahead and click on this yellow icon that is there for the submit, it will enable me to configure a service, to call a service, to analyze whether this user who is submitting the form is eligible for this approval or not.
Are we going to use that same API?
Yeah, and we have this. So here, if I just click on this service, I can see that already for a credit card score, it is configured. So we just need to give the input on what basis we need to approve for this, and that's a service is configured already, and you will receive a response back. Also, it will auto-populate a user account details upon upon opening up of your page. So let's try it out, Mami.
Sure.
Just see if you can work it out.
Okay. So it would be the URL that you would be providing to me, right?
Yes.
Okay. So actually for us to integrate that in our page, that would be quick and easy. Remember a while ago I created a link. This time I would make a magic of that. The URL provided by Sharika, that I would be putting in here as an external URL, saving and close that. Then again, we'll go back to our page. So I'll render it. Sorry, this is the rendered version. Then clicking the learn more and apply. That's where I attach the link. It would give us this Woodburn Bank site that has the leap form telling us about yourself. Now, I'm logging as an admin. So that is why it's appearing as WPS admin. So that's the auto-populate is working. Also my citizenship. And then if, for example, specific user log in here, then their information would be auto-populated here.
Yes, you're right.
So now I guess we're just linking that with the link. In a quick way, we already integrated the form. We already consumed the raw assets from the digital asset management, the building of content, and even the personalization is working in our Woodburn Bank site.
Wow. When you take all of that and then add in that new streamlined interface in Leap, and the workflow navigation capability, seems like it's all kind of coming together here. So we've facilitated this campaign, I think, in almost its entirety, right?
Sure.
Well, I guess what's left, we should have a look at how it all kind of comes together.
Yes.
Yes.
So for that, I'm going to actually assume the role of Lewis. He's a longtime customer that has been, doing business with Woodburn Bank for quite a number of years, and so obviously we have some information about him. So Lewis likes to travel,
Oh,
right?
obviously.
So
fit with our Max Travel card.
Yes.
yeah. So
Perfect candidate.
we'll start with Lewis on an external site,
Okay.
Expat Matt, right? So we're able to, because of the headless calls and the ability with the personalization engine, obviously we're able to see that we have a customized ad coming up, right? The ad has similar images,
Yes.
so it must be using that same set of assets. Okay, so as we kind of click through, Lewis is going to be guided to, to the new product page that we've created. This looks great. Let's see, the call to action is definitely functioning here. So as I get in to the form, obviously I haven't logged in yet. If I go log in, because of course I'm a customer, so now it's auto-populated.
Yes.
Okay, so now I just need to finish up this form, throw my social security, and yep. Well, it appears that the services are working now as well. So I've got it says successful application. I've been offered a credit limit of $20,000 and APR of 16.1.
Wonderful.
So I guess as an existing customer, Lewis, I'm able to get through the whole process. I've been offered a targeted, personalized credit offering that's actually benefiting me based on my passions in travel. But as importantly, Woodburn Bank is experiencing an uptick We've been able to successfully create a targeted campaign, increase loyalty for our existing customers, and really impact and streamline the process of actually applying and receiving a new credit offering.
Yeah, it helps in better revenue generation for the bank.
Oh, yes.
Yes, because how can we introduce that new product flawlessly? But then right now, they just go there and they're targeted. So,
And with such a small team of geniuses.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, guys, I really appreciate the help, putting this all together. I think we make an effective team. So thanks. I really appreciate the opportunity to see all these new features coming together.
true. As a practitioner, this definitely makes my life easier. You see how quick it was. So, thank you.
And as an IT person, I hope I helped you navigate through whatever services you need. So it has been an absolute pleasure to work with you. Thank you, Mike, and thank you, Burmi.
I'm happy.
That was a great demo, team. Thank you for bringing the Orion release to life for all of us. So how can you follow a discussion about the power of the DX Orion release? Well, we can also now give you a sneak peek into what's coming with DX Cirrus in 2023. So going back to our themes, let me select the first two. So we've heard from you that you want us to bring back and enhance the content analytics and bulk update capability that we used to have in the product. We heard you, and we're going to bring it back for this release. We're also going to provide AI-assisted summary and tag generation where you need it in the product to be able to automatically provide that tagging capability. For the developer, I'm super excited how we're going to embrace open frameworks such as React and Next.js, but we're going to do it in two sides of a coin. On one side, what you'll be able to do is to use those modern frameworks like React and Next.js in your script apps, your themes, as you're building your DX applications. So as a React developer, you'll feel right at home. Now, if you want to build something headlessly, on the flip side, if you like, we're going to provide API and SDKs for you API developers who want to use DX headlessly, and we'll do that in a very thoughtful and a very React appropriate way. Lastly on here, one thing I'm particularly excited about is customers, our TAs, and our business partners create add-ons, extensions, and components for DX all the time. So we're going to deliver a marketplace for DX to allow anyone to share those components with other people. And I think that just is a great community idea and allows you to share capabilities which enrich your overall solutions and get there faster. So the second part of Cirrus is really, thinking about from a CX perspective. So that's better integrating the capabilities of Wickham and DAM in other parts of the portfolio, be they Commerce or Unica or VoltMX, being able to use those headlessly or with third-party applications. Now, from a Unica perspective, we want to make it easier to drag and drop those personalized offers from Unica, interact directly into your DX experience and make sure those personalized offers arrive contextualized. We also are going to use some of our capabilities of HCL Signals, our CDP solution, so based on insight data and machine learning to give you content recommendation capability within your DX experience as well. So many of our customers, many of you are actually using DX to both interact with your partners, your consumers, your members, but you're also using it to communicate with your employees as well. And I'm really thrilled to say that we're going to improve the B2E and intranet capabilities of the product. So whether it's collaboration extensions or a people service to make the management of communities and people much easier as well. So lastly, an area I'm super excited about and thinking about that cloud native thing is what's the next step? So the next step for us is switching from WAS to Open Liberty and providing a preview of this in the Cirrus timeframe. It also means is that we want to continue to make it easier for you to embrace the Vault Foundry middleware that gives you that out-of-the-box connectivity. And we also want you to continue to deploy Leap for that forms capability in a much easier way. So we're going to be wrapping those in Helm deployments as well to make that easier. So bringing it up a level, DX is a fabulous solution. You've heard it. heard me talk about, it really helps you to digitize your business critical processes, but it's part of a broader tapestry for most organizations who want to create unprecedented customer experiences and outcomes using a slightly broader portfolio. So part of our mission, as you heard from me, is to integrate and federate and harmonize with the rest of the CX portfolio and third-party solutions as well. So not only are we helping you digitize those business critical processes, but we can also help you in an integrated way with DX is help you run your revenue operations. Through digital analytics, we can enable you to know what's happening in the heartbeat of your digital experience. We can help you communicate across all of your marketing interactions with your customers, your members, your stakeholders, whatever it will be at scale. And you've heard about some of those integrations with Unica. And we also realize in the era of digital first that you want to reach your customers where they live digitally. So we have the ability within the CX portfolio to build those native mobile apps, those apps for tablets, wearables, IoT devices, kiosks, whatever it may be, to be able to reach and engage and provide a self-service experience for your customers. So I think over the last 3 years, we've demonstrated investment and leadership and commitment to the DX product, but all of our CX portfolio. And it's not just about the investments that we've made in terms of the products and getting them to cloud native and enhancing the products, but also as an organization with our CX Studio consulting capabilities, we're bringing you hundreds of years of management experience. So when you make your next step in CX, we can work with you to realize the best outcomes possible and plot your journey. So if you have ideas, well, we have an ideas portal available to you. You can see the QR code here. Just a couple of things. We want to hear from you. We want your ideas. If you're not already registered, register for the ideas portal. If you have an idea, search for it. Maybe someone already has a similar idea and then vote for it. If you don't see the idea there at all, create an idea, publish it. When you think about publishing the idea, is it one idea or 3 ideas? If it's 3 ideas, create 3 submissions. And then participate, look for other ideas you'd like to vote on, because we do look at that and then we take that seriously in the formulation of our roadmap. So it's a great feedback loop. But it's just one mechanism to communicate with product management and development about the future of your applications. Another idea is to get engaged in a community. Maybe you want to connect with like-minded other business organizations, with folks who are equally passionate about building their solutions on DX. And, in a community, lots of people have experiences and ideas that they want to share, and they're really, really valuable. So please join our DX community. I think you'll enjoy it. There's lots of great people involved and lots of technical in-depth conversations that actually happen. And we participate in it from a product management and from a development perspective, and we can help share some of our knowledge and our skills with you, our organization. So I've really enjoyed my DX Deploy experience. Thanks so much to the team. What I'm going to do now is we're going to transition into the roundtable.
It is great to be back. Thank you guys so much for having me. You have to pick better locations. I mean, wow, it's been so inspirational being here. I mean, just being able to soak everything in has been great. But let's start to summarize everything that we've been through, because there's been a lot today. So I want to start with, you guys had great customers here. I mean, really great stories. I mean,
yes, Liz, actually, let me say that it has been a pleasure to participate in this wonderful event, right? And it has been a pleasure first, because we are able to show how we are developing our fantastic solutions. But second, and even better, because we had our wonderful customers presenting how they are using our solutions to get their business objectives, right? So special thanks to Ipiranga and Edison for their participation. It has been really, really interesting.
Really different customers too, but really complex challenges they both have. So loved hearing from them. You guys have had a ton of announcements. Like I think the word might be dizzying. right? I
maybe,
think it's fair.
maybe, yeah,
It's
yeah.
fair, right? Okay, lots of different announcements. Let's just kind of hit the top notes. What should people really be focused on? What are the top announcements that you really see as being kind of the big headlines from today?
You know, I'm really excited about apart from the location, obviously we're in Scotland, I love that. But I'm really excited about the cloud native part. You know, my team has been working very hard for the past, it feels like forever, but really the past kind of 18 months to reinvent the way that we're doing that and come up with something which sits much more naturally in a Kubernetes environment. And we're really starting to see our customers, for example, Edison's, who were here, to adopt that and to gain benefit out of moving on to that Kubernetes platform. And that's something that we hope to accelerate over the coming period. We also have functionality for practitioners, functionality for developers, and the beginning of our CX, customer experience integration journey. So there's a whole lot of interesting things we've been doing. But I'm going to hit cloud native as maybe it's the engineer in me, right? I'm not sure. But
You're allowed. But no, listen, it's wildly important though, right? Because
Yeah.
I think the nature of business today is all about flexibility
Yes.
in the service of acceleration.
Well, and you look at what our customers do with the software, they
Right.
depend on it. It's mission critical, right? And the platforms that we've used for the past 20 years are not the platforms that are going to take us forwards. So the reinvention onto the cloud and onto Kubernetes is the next generation of that bulletproof platform that our customers are going to depend on, and we have to get that right.
Right.
I think it's really important that you talk about a bulletproof platform, right?
Yes.
Because I think it becomes a need, because I think there's a lot of exhaustion out there,
Yeah.
right? There's a lot of exhaustion out there from customers who keep getting told, oh, you've got to re-platform. No, it needs to be this. Now we need to come over here. Hey, everyone go look at this new
100%,
shiny thing, right? And the reality is that growth can't happen, recovery can't happen
Yes.
unless you know you're on solid ground.
100%.
And it's really interesting that today's solid ground is something that can move a lot,
Yeah,
right? So I think there's a lot of irony there, but that's the reality. We need to be able to be agile, shift and move. Agile is actually a thing. It's a strategy. It's
100%.
not a checklist, right? And so I really like that. I think that's a really great takeaway.
It's
from
the
that.
foundation. It's the foundation on which everything goes.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I think there's also something else, and David mentioned one of the themes around CX, right? We're perpetually in this environment where, and if I think about what customers really want to do, we don't live in a headed only or a headless only world, right?
Right.
Right. And customers need to make a decision based upon their specific, digital experience that they're individually building. And you've got to do both. You just can't do one or the other.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, from a practitioner perspective, you want to go faster. And for you, that means citizen development. If you're more IT and developer focused, maybe that's faster on pro code with React. Or maybe that's adopting some, low-code framework to do that as well.
Or having the flexibility to change your strategy because your customer's changing, your market's changing. So I love that. I love that.
Keep your eyes on the prize, right?
Yeah.
No person out there in the world interacting with one of our customers' services talks to an API. Use a website, use a mobile app. I don't care as an end user about headless. Headless is an architectural choice.
Right.
It's all about where control is. We have to support those preferences that customers have. But at the end of the day, our focus is on the experiences that our customers can build.
Right.
Right,
Right.
exactly. And Liz, privacy, security, extensibility,
Yep.
serving those government regulated industries and healthcare companies is our mission, right? That's where our sweet spot.
I was going to say, that's really that's the foundation.
Yes, exactly. And that's where the complexity of digitizing those business processes comes in, and those modalities of integration, and giving people more options to build and to integrate becomes so important. And in these days, everyone wants to move to more event-driven, real-time type solutions.
Yeah. But isn't it funny that we want to talk about real time,
Yes.
right? But we talk about real time, which is how our organization, the thing I tend to see a lot is real time gets defined as how quickly we, the organization, can get from point A to B, or how quickly our platforms can integrate, or where our data can move. But meanwhile, our customer is sitting there like, I wanted the answer now, right?
Yeah,
I wanted the better experience now because I can get a better experience someplace else. So why don't I just go there? So I think that also goes back to this combination of talking about, it's why we talk about cloud, it's why we talk about low code, it's why even marketers are having conversations about cloud, about low code, no code, about where we need to be in this strategy, because it's all about being able to reach our customer and those experiences in their time.
Absolutely.
As opposed to us defining what real time is, right? It's not about the enterprise's ability to define that.
And it also sort of predicates the sort of idea that, you know, at the end of the day, if you want to do anything, it's really driven by the data and the insight, right?
Right.
Insight
Yes,
for
yes, yes.
personalization,
Right.
content recommendations, and really making sure that if self-service is the way you define your experience,
Yeah.
how do you make that rich and rewarding for them,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right, because, you know, your strategy may be more diverse than just purely the contact center. So
Right.
how do you do that?
Right, right.
Carlos, what are you
Yes,
saying on that?
I would like to remark that on top of these things that you are commenting, right, I see common points in our customers, right? And we have seen in these days here, all of them are going deeper in the digitalization of the critical processes, right, that they cover.
Right.
All of them are worried about maximizing the revenue operations coming from the digital platform, right?
Yes.
All of them are worried on optimizing the way they communicate to their customers through marketing automation, right? And all of them are worried about time to market in the sense, if I need to build an application, if I need to solve any issue, I will need quick, right? We had this conversation yesterday. So
Right.
these common trends, I think that we are giving a deep answer in the investment that we are doing in our product. And I think this is very important to remark.
Yes, exactly. And one of the things that came through that same conversation, Carlos, was really interesting was the whole brand experience as well, right? Consistency, you know, in the content delivery, you know, in terms of the written word between every single experience. The brand identity is so important for them, right? And when they have all those channels, how do you ensure that?
Yeah.
Like you said, how do we go faster and still maintain that
A little bit different, right?
authenticity?
Yeah, but it's a little bit different. You and I had a conversation earlier about everything feeling like it was Back to the Future, right? Like we were all going back, like personalization, brand standardization, but it's a little bit different. Like it's
Omnichannel, remember?
Right, well, you're right, but it's like, think about fashion, right? Like bell bottoms are always going to come back. We can't stop it, but it's going to be a little bit different every time it does. And I think that's what we're seeing. Right, we're seeing that in personalization. We're seeing it just be a little bit different. We're seeing experiences being, but when you're talking about brand and that standardization, it's not about the brand police that comes through a dam and says, no, you can only use this one blue logo. It's about, how do I make sure that like the demo I thought was so great. Like, how do I make sure that my customer, I know, that my customer who is into outdoor travel doesn't get the beach photo. Right? Like, how do we make sure that they get the outdoor photo?
In that sense, right? And in this Back to the Future is that our customers, they have learned from failures, right?
Yes.
And they are applying now that learning on doing it better.
Right.
Let me recover another sentence that I told you before, right? Before running, you need to walk, right? So in some cases, we are all the learning when we were crawling. Now we are putting into practice to start running, right? So this is, I think, a common trend that we see in the market, right?
Yes, there's a maturity.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, we've had many iterations. I mean, we've been talking about personalization for as long as I've been working in IT, and that's a year or two.
Just like, a couple months.
It's a couple of years.
Months, right?
But no, but we've been talking about personalization for 20 years,
Yeah.
right? And it's always been something that's just out of reach. You know, and perhaps with this focus on data, like you were talking about, and you know, the focus on the customer experience now, maybe that is something that is getting closer and is nearer at hand than it's ever been.
Well, I think because we're not talking about personalization as a destination anymore.
Right.
I think we always used to talk about it like, I'm going to personalize it,
good
and I'm
point.
finally going to get to personalization if I could just get my Excel spreadsheet to work. You know, like it was like that bad, like random acts of personalization across the one mailer you had. But I think now personalization is kind of a combination of things, right? It's about that name, but it's also about understanding that the customer has been here before. So like in the demo, right? Hey, this is a known customer. They already have an account with us. So we can actually
Even before they log in.
Right, before you
Exactly.
log, we can show them the right APR. We can show them the right. We can show them the right card. We can show them the right lifestyle image. We
Or
know
the right
so much
offer,
about
for
them.
that matter.
Right, exactly.
I don't think they even mentioned it in the demo. You know, the demo was using Unica Interact as part of how it was delivering the personalization part of it.
Right.
And you know, they showed so many good things. They didn't say that product name. You know. And you know, we've got some great options for that, and that's part of where we're going to take the products in the future in terms of how they can come together and how we use the phrase better together.
I think an important word that you mentioned is value, right?
Yes.
Now, right now, it's not personalization for personalization. It's
Agree with that.
personalization for value.
Yeah.
And now, and right now, we all the players, all the stakeholders, we understand that, right? And our customers understand that and know how to apply it, right? So it's the right moment to get that step of the maturity.
Value is also that step to growth.
Yes.
Right? Because
Yes.
that's what that's the mandate for everyone across CX, right? So when you start to talk about people who might be service-centric or sales-centric or marketing-centric, everyone's looking at growth because as we start, to kind of now accelerate out of a pandemic, right? First, the pandemic, it was like, how do I hold everything down, right? Like, how does everything stop shaking?
And some of our customers had to react very quickly during the pandemic.
Like insurance. I can't imagine how fast people had to make that pivot.
Well, and we have a lot of government customers as well
Right.
who were severely impacted in terms of increased traffic and in terms of the need to move services online very quickly.
Right. How do you get people paid? How do you get, like the fundamental questions of how we've answered those now. And I think people.
It feels like ancient history now, but it was only.
Doesn't it?
Yes, like even the beginning of this
But
year.
it set a new expectation,
That's
right? It set a new expectation of, well, why can't we keep transformation rolling
100%.
at that ridiculously fast pace? And so that time to value, what you just talked about your customers being able to know, I need to roll up a new product. I need to start a new way for my customers to engage with me. I need to find a new way for my employees to work. It has to happen fast.
And your mention of value is very important because, I mean, the next couple of years are going to be very difficult economically.
Yes.
And
globally.
Globally.
Good point.
And, the investments, we can't make investments, our customers can't make investments in these things for their own sake. They have to have almost like a near-term payoff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There was one other thing, just sort of coming back to what we also delivered, right? Big continued focus on digital asset management as an example, right?
Yeah.
We got great feedback from our customers, really bringing the Wickham capabilities with the DAM together and deploying them in anger and thinking about other places they could use them. And, just really think about how can I make this more extensible to my organization?
Right.
100%.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So we've seen that come
That
through.
and you get to say damn all the time. Which is
Damn,
always,
yes.
Right, which is always fun. I mean, it's always a damn good conversation, don't you think? I mean, it's fun. It's always fun.
Yeah.
But I think that's a really great point. And I think the other thing that came through loud and clear for me, certainly through the customer stories, which I thought was really interesting, but also through the act of the demo was, you had practitioners sitting live, building things, working together to solve a problem, but that's also experience.
Yes.
And I
it
think
is,
we tend to overlook that because there's like the big sexy experience of like, we just rolled out a credit card, that's awesome, we love it.
Yeah.
But
That doesn't happen that often, right?
right. But the fact that you can also have a really easy and accessible tool that people can use.
Yes.
And we were talking about this earlier today, right? People are leaving their jobs in record numbers, right?
Tell me
Like the
about it.
great resignation is real. It's
is a
here.
thing. It
It's
is a
happening.
thing.
And it's going to get worse. And I think that's what people aren't necessarily prepared for. And people are looking for tools that their organizations put in front of them that help them be successful.
It's doing more with less.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Always.
And on that theme, it's also one of the things that we showed in the demo was the ability to tap into our middleware, which we're making ubiquitous across both our low-code platform and our digital experience platform, because people want to just build the integration once and reuse it in multiple places and then create this common API infrastructure so they can scale it. Because you know what? As they start to abstract their systems of engagement from their systems of record at the back end, this becomes the layer that abstracts them from all the noisiness that goes on behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
As they
And that
switch.
abstraction layer is so important, right? Because I think we're very used to talking about it when we talk about data.
Yeah.
We're not very used to talking about it when we start to talk about assets, content, experiences coming together.
Yes, yes,
but
yes.
that's what's going to accelerate all of this.
I agree.
Right? Is being able to have those layers of abstraction, but also having that solid foundation. We keep coming back to this, right? It's that solid foundation, that composable architecture that allows all of this to then grow and flex. And I mean, customers, talk about the ability to move quickly, react quickly, strategize even faster.
Yeah.
That really came through loud and clear.
And also, I would like to say that what I'm seeing them is expanding, right? Expanding and expanding functionally, right? If we take into consideration the case of Edison, they have redefined the customer experience for them, right? And guess what? Revenue operations are going to be included in the new solution, right? Not only revenue operations, also the digital analytics, right? So we are going more and more to this kind of customer experience full solution, right? In the confluence of different components. In the case of Ipiranga also, in their case, they have a very solid one, a solution, B2C, B2B, also a providers portal, right? Guess what? Now digital analytics is their mantra for the next year, right?
Right.
So
Right.
this kind of expansion, I think, also a very remarkable trend, right?
The
We need
fact
to
that
talk
they
about.
have the capacity to look at expansion as part of their strategy, I think that's incredible because it means they've already solved some of those big transformation challenges.
Exactly. And they see
Right?
the value and they want
Right.
more value.
Right.
There was
Right.
more value, and also something you said earlier, which was really interesting, which is really about, there is the what they want and what they need.
Right.
Right? And the need part of it-
Always, right.
Yes, and you talked about revenue optimization, which is all part of what you said, Carlos. You need that digital analytics to give you that feedback.
But I think it's interesting because I've started peeking at survey data that I haven't even let anyone look at. So it's like the real sneak peek is coming
Go on,
through
share,
this.
dish
I know,
it.
I know. No one's watching, right? I can just go ahead and tell you three. It's gonna be fine.
Don't-
Okay,
don't-
yeah,
the word.
it's fine. But, when I've asked chief digital marketing, sales, service officers, kind of people in the thick of this digital customer experience transformation. And you ask kind of what's the laundry list of tools you're looking at? And it's like the typical things. Like it's going to be like CDP, marketing automation, revenue optimization, revenue tools. Interesting. They're looking at things like CPQ, which who knew people were going to be looking at configure, price, quote. But it's a great customer experience engine,
absolutely,
and
yeah.
it's probably the most crystal clear signal that you get from your customer.
I
So
guess,
why
yes,
not
yes.
look at it, right?
Yeah.
But when you start to ask, okay, like what are you really looking at?
So what are you actually going to do?
What are you going to do, and
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
actually going to move the needle for your mandate and for revenue?
Desire and action,
It
right?
tends to come down to revenue optimization tools
Right.
and now digital experience tools. Because there's this growing understanding that it's not just about delivering a digital experience, it's about this kind of massive panoply of digital experiences that have to somehow begin to intersect with our customers' experiences.
Right.
And if our customer is defining their own experiences, how do our digital experiences
Yes,
meet them where
exactly,
they need to be?
Right.
And that's a really hard kind of journey to start to map for themselves. So that time to value, dreaming bigger,
Yes.
doing bigger.
But sorry to recover another word you said. Tools? You really talk about tools with your customers? I'm sorry. We talk about solutions, right?
Right.
And I want to bring here to the table what is our model of engagement with our customers, right? We like to engage with them in a consultative way to understand what are their problems.
Yeah.
What do you need a solution for, right?
And I got to tell you,
not about
I'm
the tool.
gonna
It's
give
not
away.
about the tool.
I'm gonna give away the behind the scenes thing here. I'm really giving it away. You guys are never gonna invite me back now because I'm airing all the dirty laundry.
Go.
Here's the thing that I thought was so interesting when your customers were here, and that no one got to see because it was all behind the scenes. They kept coming back to you guys saying, okay, we have this other challenge, we have this other issue. Like they're proactively coming to you to say, okay, solve this problem next. It was almost like a
Exactly.
dare,
Yeah.
right? Like they're daring you to solve some of their big problems. But that's a really great dynamic to have with your
Well,
customers.
actually, more than a dare, it's a real pleasure, right?
Yeah,
Because
that's
it's-
true.
That is true.
Yeah.
It's really creating a team with your customer,
Yeah.
right? That is our aspiration.
And why are we
Actually, it's-
here? We're here to solve problems.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We make things, we solve problems. It's
Right. But I mean, let's be honest. Let's be honest here. A lot of times when customers come to their vendor partners, sometimes those problems that they're looking to solve might be technology problems. The problems that I kept hearing people coming to you guys with while we've been here have been real business problems. It's been that okay, now what do I do to my customer? Okay, now how do I then add a new functionality?
I
Hey,
agree,
people are
yes.
talking about this new video, or people are talking about a new file format. How do I keep extending that?
I have to tell you, I love to hear you saying those words because that means that we are doing something good. Right? That means that we are doing something good, right?
Check to the post.
Exactly, right?
Phew.
And I think our model, I mean, it's almost in a way, certainly you could work with, if you can afford a GSI, that's great.
Right,
But also
right.
you could work with us and your in-country SI.
Yeah.
And together we can, three in the box,
Exactly.
we can work together. We can hit those business problems
Yeah,
hard one
yeah.
by one. And we can also help you with your digital maturity, as you were
Right.
saying, David, moving out of wave 2 into wave 3
Sure.
of that sort of
Right.
digital first.
But I think it's very important within the engineering organization to ensure that we are not just behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That we have people throughout my team, in all geographies, interacting directly with customers to understand, it's a win-win situation. It's a win for the customer primarily, first and foremost, because they have direct route into engineering. They can feed us requirements. They can let us know when something's not as they would wish, because that does happen. But
No.
it's amazing, isn't it? But also the other win for us is that I have an engineering team then that is directly connected to some of those sources of requirements and can validate what they're doing.
Right, it's like the best focus group for product development ever,
absolutely,
right? Because you're hearing it
absolutely.
right from the customer, who's hearing it from their customer.
Absolutely. And it's
right?
it's really it genuinely is a win-win situation for us,
Yeah.
and the customers that have those relationships really appreciate it.
And that's what I'm certainly seeing in the marketplace too, right? Is that gap of time and that gap of access between the customers, the end customers' need that your customers are facing, right? That sliver, and then the gap between your customer and the developers, that time compression is really crushing in quite quickly, where you have to iterate immediately because at the end of the day, that end customer with their wallet, they are walking faster and taking their business away faster. There are less excuses.
Right, the
There's less
switching
rounds of
costs are
apology.
actually lower, right?
Yeah,
Unless
absolutely.
you're some of the largest
Right.
customers. But I would sort of bring back to something that you were saying, Carlos. We could use a sporting metaphor, right? But when you start thinking in the context of the solution, the CX solution, then every one of us, whether we're DX or commerce, marketing automation, whatever, we're part of a team, right? And it's just, it doesn't matter which entry point you start at, we're going to help our customer. And it's our job, development and product management, to work with them to figure out what are those pieces to be able to make those plays to be efficient for the customer.
And I think the commonality, and when even last time I was with you guys and we were high above the clouds in Malibu and having great conversations there.
I was sorry to miss it.
I know, sorry that we bring you out to the Scottish Highlands
Well,
instead.
we have clouds.
Yeah, we have clouds here. We have clouds. But I think what's so interesting in talking to those customers, let's fast forward several months. Let's talk about these customers. Let's talk about kind of the solutions that you're bringing. You guys are talking about solving some of the most complex problems in some of the most highly regulated, like this is about complexity at a very different,
anyone can build a website.
Right.
And not all websites are equal. And if you look at what our customers do, there's always a login, there's always applications, there's always processes.
Business solution.
Exactly.
Right.
Like it's security to the nth degree. I mean, that was one of the things. It was funny because when I was watching the demo, I was like, this is a credit card company, right? Like this is a demo about a financial institution. It's not just, I'm not just throwing up APRs and here's your account number and here's how much money you have. Like that is not what we're doing here because that is regulated, that is not allowed.
Oh, absolutely.
That's an incredibly complex process, but it was a really easy page to build. And it was a really easy experience to envision.
Well, that's
and you
quite
could
right.
see the people around the table being like, well, what does someone want to see? What would someone want to see on this type of page? And I thought that even having the capacity to ask that question in a team and be able to deliver it and then say, oh no, that's not what we wanted, let's do it this way.
Yeah, agreed.
That fluidity is not something that a lot of, in a tool-centric world, you would have access to. And that's what I thought really came through.
Totally agree, Liz. And at this point, we were commenting before how important it is to be able to do storytelling, right?
Yeah.
And to
You had a great
translate-
phrase about that.
Exactly.
Transmedia storytelling, it's my favorite thing to talk about. Welcome to my TED Talk, everyone. Yeah.
When you mix ambition,
Yeah.
vision, setting up a vision with a storytelling, then you are building this kind of journey, right? The way that we need to go to get to the end, right? And I think this is very important.
Yeah, and I think when you start talking about digital experiences as opposed to like digital experience, which I know everyone loves to talk about.
But I wonder how long we're going to keep qualifying it. How long are we going to keep using that adjective?
Well, yeah, for as long as people, well, I guess, isn't like new media now print? Haven't we cycled back in Carlos's world where we're back to the future? Because I think print feels new again, right? And people are investing in it, which is crazy. They're personalizing it. But we're back to that, right? Where now all of a sudden new media equals print. Again, I can't wrap my head around it
as you say,
fully. But storytelling is fundamentally different because we're not telling the story on the web page. We're telling the story across a website,
journey, right?
onto a mobile
Yes,
device.
exactly.
We're telling different parts and chapters
And
of the story.
ideally in an end-to-end process,
Right.
business process, because that is where really is the value.
Yeah,
right? So
and
this
so-
is the real
with that.
storytelling.
Yeah.
Yes, and maybe that's a segue, Liz, to talk about, so we talked about Orion, which is the release this
Right.
year.
But what's coming next?
Yeah, so we have...
Which constellation are we going to next, Andrew?
I know.
Well, let's go to Sirius, why not?
Yes.
Yes, and like you said, if you're a large organization, getting analytics about your content
Yes.
matters massively inside your
And not
organization.
vanity analytics about my content.
Yes, exactly,
Like
as we were
actual
saying.
analytics about my content.
David did this, he did that,
Right.
his content is distributed in all these different areas. I need to make a bulk update, right? My license for this piece of content is expired, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Being able to see, because here's the thing. You keep me, and I love that he keeps coming back to this because I'm going to pick on it for just a second. When you
We know
talk
he's
about,
gonna go, yeah.
I know, he's going to talk about the process. He says it so much better than I do.
Yeah.
About processes, I think that a lot of times organizations make the mistake of applying technology to an old process, which just makes it a faster old
Totally.
process.
Buggy whip, right?
Right, but what you're talking about is taking a lot of the friction out of the processes that still work.
Exactly.
Yes,
Right,
exactly.
so when you start to look at rights managed assets,
Yeah.
Right.
they still work. We still need them. They're a reality in our business. How do we take the friction out of it? How do we have the analytics to know that removing that friction also helped us deliver something faster? We got to
Yes,
time to
exactly.
value faster. And seeing all of that is important.
And also something you said earlier as well, Liz, is there's no point fighting a religious war, right? Between the people who want to go headed and the people who want to go headless. So let's do both. That's
Right,
as part
and you
of this.
can have both. It's
Yes.
okay. I think we're trying, like, we're in this weird cycle right now where people are like, you don't use headless.
Oh, I've sat.
You're like, wait a minute, like, oh my God, why do I feel bad about it? You've been through those, right? And you kind of are like, why do I have to feel bad about that? You don't.
You don't,
You don't.
no.
You can be hybrid. You can
Absolutely,
be
yes,
headed. You can be
exactly.
headless. The thing you can't be is ignorant of the fact that experiences are the customers to have.
Well, absolutely.
Right, it's not
Exactly,
the
yes.
command and
That's it.
control
The
model
customer
of
doesn't care.
old sites.
There's always a head,
Right.
right? It's a question of who built it.
Right. Can you imagine a day when our customers are like, "Oh, this is not a headless website. I don't like it."
I would
Like,
say,
they're gonna- like,
they
no
don't
one-
care, right?
No one's
Right?
going to say
It's-
that.
yeah.
They're going to use Postman to go into
Right, they're going to be like, "Oh, this is not decoupled from a presentation layer. Isn't going to be a conversation."
patch for that one.
If they do that with my flying home, I wouldn't fly, right? Absolutely. Don't worry, the
love it.
pilot's using Postman. We're okay.
Right, we're okay.
Absolutely.
We're okay. It's all right. They're phoning it in. So let me ask you this: as you start to look down the roadmap, as you start to look at all of the new star constellations, I appreciate that you guys went with Constellation because Constellation
Wow,
Research.
I wonder when you were
Thank
gonna
you
say that,
guys.
Liz.
Thank you guys. Thanks all of you for just giving us a slice of that. That's awesome. On behalf of all of my colleagues, what is the thing that? What's the most important thing that you're looking for? What do you really want your customers? They've watched this. What do you want them walking away thinking?
So we talked about how the past was about getting to that cloud native platform. I want to pick on something that was in your presentation about customer experience as a team sport.
Right.
Right. And on your chart, you had all those faces and the different products and the different roles. And our customers, when they build customer experiences with our software. It's never just one person or one department that's working on it. It's really people drawn from across the organization.
Yeah.
And so, when you look at the things that we're talking about for the future, a lot of it is about bridging between practitioners and developers and other customer experience professionals who may only tangentially be involved with the software. If I ask my boss to approve some content, he does not need to come and learn how to use the content management system. Or he does not want to, he should not have to learn, right?
Right.
It was like, it's fine, send me a screen print.
Right.
But
it's being able to bring that team together, and I think you're absolutely right.
One
What's your
observation,
takeaway?
yes, to your question, right? And this goes deeper on the roadmap and the new functionalities. If you ask me what I want for the future, I want to be even more a trusted advisor for my customers, right?
Yeah.
What I see is the customers are asking more and more to be prescriptive on how they need to do the things to achieve their objectives, right? So maybe it's too deep, my comment, right? It's
No, I
not
like
about
it.
the roadmap,
I like it
but-
because here's how I'm going to wrap us up, right? Here's how we're going to wrap us up. We need to be thinking about how we bring our solutions together so we can actually play as a team sport.
Yes.
yes,
We have to be able to have those be functionally bound together across composable architectures that allow for that
100%,
flexibility
yeah.
with
Yes,
containers.
yes,
And we need to be able to be there and dare our partners to ask different questions and ask those harder questions.
great.
Does that
Yeah.
sound fair? Like that's the summary of today?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll take it.
I like it.
Yeah, I'll
I
take
like it. Well, thank you guys again. for
Lovely
having me.
summary, Liz.
Yes, thank you,
Thank you.
Liz.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for making it a great session.
What a great event this has been. We've covered a lot of ground and have gotten incredible insight from innovators on the front line of digital experience. We've heard from DX customers who shared their experience creating with our latest cutting-edge tools and technologies. Our product and development teams did a deep dive into the new capabilities and how these modern features fuse together to create a powerful experience for your end users. And we heard from experts on the future of the market, what they see coming next, and how we can all be better prepared for it. One takeaway I think we can all agree on is that digital experience is essential and getting more important by the day. Our digital horizons are expanding rapidly, from virtual experiences in the metaverse to Web 3.0 to creativity with NFTs and much, much more. As digital experiences mature, our collective success includes building digital-first strategies that can respond to the needs of all the stakeholders in that digital journey. This isn't easy, but achieving transformational change inspires what we do and how we do it. That goal has inspired our customer experience portfolio of products designed to help you create and thrive with a digital-first strategy that makes sense for you. This includes HCL VoltMX, a powerful tool for fast, flexible, low-code app development. HCL Unica, an automation platform that enables precision marketing at scale, and HCL Commerce, a dynamic customer interaction platform for omni-channel commerce. Individually, these technologies are potent. When they are allowed to work together in the same stack, their impact is incredible. And as we just saw in the demo, Unica, VoltMX, and DX sharing and integrating data seamlessly across platforms. When HCL products work together, they enhance each other and push the potential for innovation even higher. And this is just the beginning. Thank you so much for joining us. Your participation, feedback, and insight not only made this event special, it made it possible. We hope you walk away feeling inspired by what you can do with DX. We love hearing directly from you, so please reach out if you have any questions or comments. We want to ensure you are getting the best possible results from our latest tech. And be sure to click the button below and register for a personalized workshop with our team, who will help you get to know and apply these new features to your DX implementation. Thanks again for participating. We can't wait to build the future with all of you.